So first, congratulations.
Thank you, Paul.
I'm sure it was a dream come true. Was it by design that you started your press conference by sitting down and going, here we go?
Did I say that?
You said that.
Oh, wow. Well, I think it was here we go because my mother was sitting right there because I knew I was in trouble. So, no, that was not by design. Yeah, not at all. So.
But the emotion was authentic, which I think people do appreciate. And I guess it's because it's a pinch me moment for you. I mean, how many people get a chance to do this back in your own town?
I mean, definitely. I mean, just so blessed to be an NFL coach. You know, I've never taken it for granted because I know how hard it is to get into this league and then, you know, and further to look at the opportunities I've had, but to come to Pittsburgh and do this is beyond the dream come true. I never thought it would happen. I thought Mike would coach for, another 10 years. So, but yeah, it's been incredible, because this is what you grew up on, and it's not coming back to Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm in my backyard. I mean, I look out my window, I can see Greenfield. So it's it's been remarkable, and the drive to work's awesome. Just get up every morning and you see the city from my parents' house, and it's been incredible.
Also, you are one of the few people to have on your resume now 3 of the most iconic franchises to be able to coach for. We're talking Green Bay, Dallas, and now Pittsburgh. I mean, growing up, you possibly could not have imagined all that trifecta.
No, not at all. I just the Lord has blessed me over and over and over again. But I think the values that I learned here in Pittsburgh, starting with my family and my parents, you just keep your head down and you just keep working, and good things happen to good people. And I got to get a better answer for that question because I never really ever dreamed about it. I mean, we all, I think, dreamed about playing for the Pirates or playing for the Steelers, as kids growing up here, but never once did I think I would be standing here being a 3-time head coach of 3 incredible organizations.
In your press conference, you talked about bringing back a 7th Lombardi. Yeah. You also denied them of one along the way when you were in Green Bay. I'm just curious now, when you step back, looking at that, obviously that was a high moment for you, but it came at the expense of the Steelers not getting one.
Definitely. I mean, working in the league, I've worked with coaches that coach, decades in this league and never had the opportunity to even coach in a Super Bowl. So I know how hard that is to get there. And I could vividly remember being on a flight back from Chicago to Green Bay, quick flight. And we were talking about, the Super Bowl as far as just the administrative things. And someone said Pittsburgh won, just won the AFC Championship game. And I'm like, of course they did, just my first time to get there. And now I got to, play the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it was odd. Thank God they had to wear white that day, because I would have struggled with the black across the, on the other side of the field. Because, it is the magic of the black and gold. I mean, that's, we all have that in it, it's part of who we are. So, but yes, but it's football. You're competing and so forth. My parents have a really cool picture of me with Terry Bradshaw, holding the trophy. We might have to slide that to the closet for now, because I don't want to be looking at that every day. So,
well, you're here, and of course, there's a lot of good. You have people around here who know you. Obviously, you're going to want you to succeed. But the other part of that is when you're local, you have pressure because everyone now can get to you. Go to your bar. Hey, coach, what did you do on 3rd down? You go to Giant Eagle, right? You're going to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How is that?
We haven't experienced it yet.
Hopefully you don't have too much of it.
Hopefully I don't have to go to Giant Eagle. But thank God for what they call it, DoorDash or how that works. But no, I think there's always pressure with this job, and I think having 2 experiences prior to coming here is is part of it. Frankly, I'm more concerned about my family half that deal, because this is new for them, and but hey, it's a great gift. These are good challenges to have.
I remember Carver said that too. He said the hardest thing is your family here and stuff, but yeah. I guess that comes with it. Let's talk about your team now. You inherit a team that wins a division. Not many coaches come into that. Yeah. So I guess pressure right off the bat, right?
Well, definitely. But at the end of the day, that's the first thing. We talk about the roster every day, and it's an excellent roster. Excited, the number of draft picks we have. So you're always trying to move the needle of your roster. So yeah, definitely. It's a great situation to come into, and but yeah, it's not the norm for sure.
Aside from head coach, you know how this goes. Quarterback always gets the spotlight and all the attention. So you have an interesting situation on your hands here with Aaron, who played here last year, and for someone of his age, I hate to talk about age because I'm up there as well, but he played very well. So are you thinking he's coming back? Do you expect him to come back?
To be honest with you, this is a normal process, for veteran players who have been around it enough in my time. It's important for them guys to step away, decompress, and that's really what he's doing right now. So most important thing is for him to get to where he needs to be mentally and emotionally, but physically he definitely, has a lot left, I think, especially after watching the games. So we'll have a decision in due time.
Can you recreate the magic that you guys had Green Bay?
That's the plan. That's the plan. I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be a great chapter in our career.
All right, let's talk about other guys you have here, because Mason Rudolph's been here. He's had some opportunities, but, come and go. Howard's a guy that a lot of people really like, the potential. How does that all work if he comes back and if he doesn't come back?
Well, you have to develop the quarterback room because everybody has to. You got to coach to the lead quarterback. I think that's critical in how you develop your quarterback room because everything's tied to the quarterback. Our offensive system is based off making quarterbacks successful. So obviously all the rhythm, timing, and how we install concepts. You don't want to have a diversely different skill set from your number one quarterback to 2 and 3 because now you're obviously it's just a little more of a challenge to the other guys. So and that's the way we'll do it. And if Aaron's the one, then obviously we'll build off of what they did here last year and try to feature. You got to feature your players. Every good offensive system I've been around, you have to make sure you take advantage of your guys.
You're known as this quarterback whisperer. What does that mean to you, and why are you good at it?
I just, frankly, I've been very fortunate to the people that I've been able to work with at a very young age in my coaching career. So, but yeah, I'm not great talking about myself, but it's
the record speaks for itself. You've done it.
Yeah, and it's been awesome. I've had decades of guys that just go about the right way. The foundation of what we do quarterback is what I learned from Paul Hackett. That's something I've always held true to. It's training quarterback today is different than it was back in the 90s for sure, in the early 2000s. But we have a good plan, we have a good format, and I think at the end of the day, it starts with the quarterback. So making that quarterback successful, but it's really that staying true to the fundamentals, and just every position gets to do it. Quarterbacks are challenged to work on it as much as possible. That's why I think it's critical to have the relationships with their external, coaches and so forth. Hopefully we can all be on the same page and keep creating that, the timing, rhythm, and all the basics of what quarterback school used to give those guys.
Quarterbacks obviously can make receivers. I believe that, but also you have to have receivers who are going to make a quarterback options a lot better. So from that standpoint, when you look at the wide receiver room here, what's your vision for it and what you see of it right now?
It's the same way. It's the development of it, and that's why the relationship with the quarterback room is so important. So you definitely got guys that can develop it. I think playing with Aaron last year is something that we can build off of because there's not going to be a whole lot different as far as how they've been, the expectations of route running, how it's fit to the quarterback's feet, the importance of protection, creating a platform for the quarterback to throw on, the scramble drill, activation. So I think it'll be, we'll build off of what I think's already been started here.
One other thing about quarterbacks, and this is interesting, Will Howard won a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys who've won national championships don't necessarily turn out to be good quarterbacks in the NFL. They get there, but it's hard to be that. What do you see from him from afar? Because I know you haven't worked with him, and what you like from him.
I love the way he plays the game. It definitely flashed during his time at K-State, and just the run that they went on as a football team at Ohio State, and and he obviously played his best at the most important time of the season, and that's something that you pay attention to because this is about winning playoff games and winning championships. I think you can always elevate a guy as they move through the regular season and so forth, but the fact that he has that experience and he's done it. That's great to have. It's a great asset to carry forward.
You're putting together staff now. I know that takes a while. What do you kind of utilize to make that staff? Is it just relationships you had in the past? Do you get feedback from other people? How does that come to be?
You got to trust the process. You got to trust the interview process. There's so much that you learn. Not only learning something new, but maybe saying it in a different way. How it's being said, how it's being done somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, it's got to fit together. And that's the reality of it. To me, that's why it takes long. But then, you got the financial component as, agents and, got that whole, whirlwind that you got to get involved in there too. So, but yeah, you got, I got for 3 more today, and you just trust the process, take good notes, and, keep evaluating, keep churning, because I'm all about how it fits together. So hopefully it goes quicker than it has in the past. So,
Do you like a big coaching staff, or does it matter how many?
no, I'm not calling on a number. I think, structure, we're all given a structure, head count. To me, it's, I just asked how many, and then, you get the job descriptions, get them fit together. I know what the job responsibilities, we know what we need to do. Technology helps today a lot different than it was 20, 30 years ago. So, yeah.
Speaking of technology, back when you started, you didn't have all this metrics and analytics stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you utilize it? Do you like it? And how does it fit your coaching now?
Oh, it's a big part of my coaching. I mean, frankly, we called it game analysis back in the early 90s. And was a probably big part of how I got into the league, as a quality control coach. Kansas City had a defensive quality control coach, but they didn't have an offensive one. So Marty Schottenheimer hired me to be the offensive quality control. Paul Hackett had utilized game analysis with the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys prior to that. So we took the system of what he wanted to do to Kansas City, but it had to be developed in the code and back in COBOL back in the day, if you're into that type of thing. And so learning the game analysis from the ground up was a great experience for me, and drawing the pictures on a computer and so forth. So that's why I smile when I say analytics, because it's really the foundation of how I look at a lot of things. I think it's really helped me develop a check and balance system, protocol, how you assess the game, organization, workload capacity, efficiency, all those things come from that mindset. So analytics is a great asset. I don't think it's the end all of end all by no means, but and it's exciting what's going on with AI. We have some, opportunities and maybe to look into that a little deeper. And so if it helps, you definitely want to look at it, but it's always the education of these things, but how do you apply it to the game in real time? That's always really the challenge.
And that sort of manifests itself on fourth downs. We've seen a lot of coaches go for it on fourth downs. Back in the day, I remember, if you're in scoring range, you take the points, you don't worry about it. Is it your gut, or will you rely on the metrics, or a combination of both given the circumstances?
Yeah, but it's a combination of both. You have to, because I'm not a red, white, or is it red light, yellow light, green light system guy. Because really yellow light is the gray area. And that's really, you gotta trust ebb and flow, which we all have done our whole career. Plus, there's things going on the sideline that you may not be aware of, the computer's not aware of. So, quarterback may have something, or, your defense may be struggling. You may be down to your only 2 receivers. So I've had so many things happen to me over the years. So you do have to trust the ebb and flow of the game.
Defensively, I know that you said at your press conference that you would like to have better defenses, at least generally. The one you had, you won a championship with. What makes a good defense for you? What kind of defense are you looking for? Yeah, I was really stating the facts of, the performance of, the reality of look at the playoffs, and you got to have top defense to be in every one of these games. Every one of these games in January, they come down to who has the ball last. You look at the league, this year, where the lead changes in the fourth quarter at a historic rate. So that's the importance of defense. I've always looked at defense as the thermostat of the football team. They regulate the climate to keep you always in a game, because they don't score, they can't win, but they regulate everything, and we have the responsibility on offense to play to that too. How we complement them too, because if you're putting that defense out there, too much, then now you're stressing them out. So you also come into a situation where you have the NFL draft for the first time ever in Pittsburgh. Yeah. It's all happening at once here. What is that going to be like for you?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it. I was able to experience it last year for one day up there in Green Bay, and it was on the Pat McAfee show. So just the environment's incredible, and I think Pittsburgh will be phenomenal this year. And to have it over there at the stadium, it's pretty remarkable. And I think the league, now that they've done it, moved around enough, it's Pittsburgh will represent very well. That's going to be a great weekend.
So you seem to be comfortable on TV. I've watched some of those clips with Pat. And you like that? Because
Well,
I hope to
I'm
be
sitting
doing a
in my
show with
house.
you, and I want
Yeah.
to do it. And I didn't know you're good at it.
No. I wouldn't say I won't say I dislike it, but Pat's easy to work with. I mean, he's a great point guard. His personality. I mean, his whole crew. I mean, just the whole operation there. Just really enjoyed those guys. But to be able to do something like sitting at your desk at home is pretty comfortable. So no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But you make it easy too. You're a great point guard yourself.
So I never was really. Maybe in this case I would be. One final thing, and that would be Greenfield Avenue. You said that's where the parade would start. I'm just curious what that would be like. And have people come up to that location now? Because I saw somebody say, I'm here at 11:37. I want to see where it is when we start this thing.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I was just trying to give Greenfield a shot at. I'm so proud to be from there, and the people that know me from Kansas City and the other places I've lived, they think Greenfield's a city because that's all I ever heard. And because that's how we were back in Pittsburgh in the day. You didn't say you're from Pittsburgh. You talked about what neighborhood you were from. So yeah, I'm just trying to recognize the great neighborhood of Greenfield.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Bob.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.